Hello, my fabulous friends. I'm Coral. Welcome back to my channel. I am here today with a spoiler-free review of the newly released The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. So this was originally published in 2019. Camilla Sten is a Swedish author, so this was translated by Alexandra Fleming. This came out in the US last month in March, and it was published by Minotaur Books. So, The Lost Village had a pretty interesting premise. What's going on here is that there is this abandoned village in the mountains, and I'm not sure if they specifically say Sweden, but like that's where we're assuming it is. At least that's where I'm assuming it is. This village is called Silversharn, and it is there because there is a mine. So like, it's very tiny, and basically all the people who live there have spouses who work in the mine or work there themselves. It's very tiny. Everyone knows each other. Generations of people have lived here, and it's a very tight-knit, pretty religious community. So in the late 1950s, in 1959, basically in 1960 almost, this event happens, and in the beginning, you're following these two police officers who are going to investigate what has happened. They get there and the town is completely abandoned, aside from a woman who is tied to like a pole and has been beaten to death, and also a newborn baby left in a building. But all other signs of the residents, the inhabitants of this village, are gone. Then we flash forward to about 60 years later, where there is a young woman named Alice who is making a documentary on the disappearance of the villagers in Silversharn. She's gone to school for this. This is going to be like her magnum opus if she can pull it off, because basically nobody has ever uncovered the mystery of this village. There really aren't many people who go up there because it's so far in the mountains and you don't get any cell service. At this point, some of the buildings are dilapidated and it's just like kind of dangerous and not a very like forgiving place to be. Alice has been really interested in Silversharn all her life. Her grandmother actually grew up in Silversharn, but was an adult and had moved away when the mysterious incident happened. But she had family there still. Her grandmother's mother, father, and younger sister were all there and all disappeared. Alice grew up hearing about this. Her grandmother has no idea what happened, but tried to do some research and some investigating of her own to figure out why everyone disappeared. So Alice has some of this information that, like, I guess nobody else has. So she gets together with a group of friends. There is Tona, there's Emmy and Robert, and there's also Max, and the five of them go up into the mountains, very secluded area, and find Silversharn. They want to investigate some of the buildings, and they're planning on putting together a documentary, and you know, they're all kind of hoping that they find some bit of information that can help them solve the mystery. So that is basically the plot of this book. Obviously they're investigating. There's a little bit of like urban exploration as they're going into these buildings that nobody has been to in years and years. And right away, this is one of those books where right away stuff starts to go wrong and you aren't sure if the narrator can be trusted. You're not sure if the people that she's with can be trusted. Her friend Tona also has some family connections to this town, but you don't figure out until much later in the book. And I thought that part was pleasantly surprising when that was revealed. But overall, the reveal of the mystery, when we find out what actually happened to the residents of Silversharn, it was a little bit underwhelming and also a little bit implausible. Sometimes the author just asked you to suspend disbelief a little bit more than I was willing to. I also thought that the plot was really meandering and so much of it was them sort of exploring these buildings before something would happen. And I don't know, I just didn't think it was very fun. I wasn't overly worried about the characters. I didn't, and like books don't have to be like scare your pants off scary for me to enjoy them, but I just didn't find anything that was going on very suspenseful or scary. I didn't understand the motivations of some of the characters in this, and they were like, I don't know, these characters have histories with each other, and some of it just like, it didn't make sense. The narrator wasn't very likable, but not in a way, because a lot of the times I like that, but this was just like, this person is annoying and that's why I don't like them. There is also this part, this will be a mild spoiler, so I don't think it's a spoiler for the plot, but it does, you know, give a chunk of info away. So if you don't want to hear this, I'll hold my book back up when I'm done and you can skip through it. But there is this part where somebody with a mental illness in their group is like outed to the rest of the people without their permission, and it's seen as like a, oh, they're mentally ill, so that's why all these bad things are happening. And it's like, not everybody who is mentally ill is a fucking monster. Also, it just didn't make sense because this person had stopped taking their medication like 1 day before or 2 days before, and now all of a sudden they're having a psychotic break, which as far as I know isn't quite how that works. Usually it takes a little longer for that medication to be out of your system, so that didn't really make sense to me, and I thought it was just kind of in poor taste. So there were a culmination of things that I just didn't really enjoy while I was reading this book. I did finish it. The mystery itself of what happened in Silver Sharn and why this woman was killed and who this baby belonged to, because maybe I didn't say it, but nobody knows who this abandoned newborn belongs to. It was, you know, very recently newborn, and they never found any record of who the parents were. So, you know, the mystery of that was enough to keep me reading. But like I said, the reveal was a little bit underwhelming as far as what happened to the people who disappeared. But I did enjoy the reveal of who the baby belonged to. That was kind of interesting. So I guess it was promising. It was very promising. It just didn't end up being as good as I had hoped it would be. And even with them making a documentary, like, they never really got to that part of it because all this stuff happened before they could really get to it. And so even that was kind of disappointing because I was hoping that, you know, we would have some scenes where they're filming or putting together a script or, you know, anything like that. And we just didn't really get it. So I guess this book was interesting enough to keep me reading. The mystery was intriguing. The reveal was not as exciting as I hoped and a little bit far-fetched, but I read the whole thing. So there's that. So that is my review of The Lost Village by Camilla Sten. If you'd like to check that out, I will have a link in the description for my bookshop.org affiliate page. If you purchase through them, you're helping my channel and also independent bookstores. If you've read this, let me know how you felt about it. Did you like the ending? Did you also find it a little bit far-fetched? I don't want to give any spoilers away, obviously, but, you know, we could chat about it. Like, you could DM me on Instagram or something like that and we could chat about it. Yeah, I'd like to know what you guys thought about it too. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys later. Goodbye.